A group of Jesuits released the names of priests accused of sexually abusing minors. We'll tell you how many have ties to southeast Wisconsin.
Plus, a Cudahy woman now charged. Prosecutors say she used cocaine in a hospital while pregnant.
And looking for ways to raise postal office revenue. A proposed change that could be coming soon to your mailbox.
You're watching the CBS 58 News at 9 on the end.
We start with breaking news out of Chicago. 2 police officers have been hit and killed by a train. The train stopped just short of a station. The conductor told riders there was an emergency that was being investigated. We have no other details, but we will stay on this story and update you as needed. Continue to follow this story on our website as well, CBS58.com. We're also going to have an update for you on the CBS 58 News at 10 o'clock.
New names are coming out tonight of Catholic priests with allegations of sexual abuse against them. 9 of them have ties to Wisconsin.
CBS 58's David Schumann joins us from the newsroom to break down what has been revealed. David?
Of the 9 you mentioned, 5 of the priests have been accused of sexual abuse from while they were missioned right here in southeast Wisconsin. Marquette University High School was home to 3 priests accused of molesting a minor between 1963 and 1986, according to the USA Midwest Province of the Jesuits, a Roman Catholic religious order. The Jesuits report also includes a priest missioned at Marquette University and one at St. Eugene Parish in Fox Point, both accused for incidents in the 1970s. Reverend Brian Paulson with the Jesuits apologized to the victims in a letter, saying the failures of the Society of Jesus and the Church to protect those entrusted to its care fill our hearts with outrage, sorrow, and shame. The names on the list are men who have at least one established allegation against them, meaning the Jesuits have determined the accusations to be reasonable. Being on this list has no legal ramifications in and of itself, and none of the Milwaukee County priests have ever been criminally charged. 3 were permanently removed from public ministry, 1 was dismissed, and another died in 1991. The Jesuits are having a third-party investigator check their work. We have the details of the individual accusations on our website. Reporting live, David Schumann, CBS 58 News.
David, thank you. 3 people have been arrested after a high-speed chase that came to an end in Milwaukee. Police say the chase started in Glendale and made its way to Milwaukee. Officers were pursuing a stolen vehicle and used spike strips to get it to stop. The chase ended near 76th and Good Hope Road. No one was injured.
Malik Terrell will go to prison for life for what the judge called the worst homicide Milwaukee has seen in years.
Torture my baby like that. He didn't deserve it.
The mother of 15-year-old Dennis King spoke through tears at Terrell's sentencing today. Her son was beaten with a hammer, stabbed, burned to death 7 months ago. Milwaukee police found his burnt remains in an abandoned house. Terrell thought King was involved in the theft of his video gaming system.
This ain't it for you. This is not it. You have to go before God for what you did, and it ain't no turning back.
The judge decided that the 22-year-old should not be eligible for extended supervision. He was also ordered to pay $3,400 in restitution.
An argument causes a 2-car crash on I-41 in Milwaukee County this weekend. It happened just before 1 a.m. Saturday near Swan Boulevard. Deputies say the driver of a Ford Escape was arguing with a passenger. That passenger grabbed the steering wheel, forcing them to hit another car and crash into a barrier. The driver was arrested for her first OWI, and the passenger was arrested as well. A 27-year-old woman is charged after using drugs in the hospital while she was pregnant. Investigators say drug use may have killed her newborn. CBS 58's Lindsay Branwell joins us in the studio with those details. Lindsay?
Well, Amanda, the baby died just 1 day after being born. When investigators tried to find out why, a simple drug test gave them the answer.
Just 30 hours after being born, Israel Bova died. Drug tests show the infant and its mother, Skylar Bova, had cocaine and opioids in their system. Bova had been at the Aurora Women's Pavilion in West Dallas since mid-October and gave birth December 3rd. Once in custody, she admitted to using cocaine and morphine pills daily, telling them her husband would bring the drugs in during visits. Nurses say Bova would regularly use the delivery table inside of her room to block her hospital door so the staff couldn't enter her room. It's unknown whether Bova exhibited any symptoms or signs of drug use. We asked Aurora about their policies on drug use and security. They didn't answer those questions, but told us federal and state laws place limits on information healthcare providers may share about their patients. Drug use at hospitals has been documented all over the nation. The University of Tennessee Medical Center changed their policies so drug users are searched give up their cell phone, and can't have visitors. A Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center doctor talked about similar rules at his hospital in the New York Times. Bova told investigators she knew her baby may be born with an addiction, but she didn't believe drug use during pregnancy could kill the child.
And Bova will be in court on Thursday for a preliminary hearing. Reporting live in the studio, Amanda, back to you.
Lindsay, thank you. Marquette University police now have a new leader. Edith Hudson was sworn in during a ceremony tonight. She's the former assistant police chief for the Milwaukee Police Department. She says she's looking forward to the opportunity and sees it as a good fit with her family.
But it also fits what I would hope for my son and his education. So I think that fits very well with who I am and with my background in community engagement and with community collaboration. I think that will work well. I'll fit well here.
MUPD has been without a chief since Paul Mascari resigned from his position in May after being cited for OWI in January. Captain Jeff Krantz has served as the interim chief.
Mykonos Gyro and Cafe announced their decision to close after 24 years. The restaurant will have its final day open on December 30th. They penned a heartfelt goodbye on Facebook. Part of the message said, "This community that has grown through the loyalty of customers like you will always have a special place in our hearts." Several people we talked to tonight really disappointed about the closing.
Yes, I've been coming here for years, and it's, get to know everybody, especially in the neighborhood that comes in here, and it's like old home,
If you'd like to stop by on their last day open, the restaurant is near Van Buren and State Street in Milwaukee.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah.
It's going pretty well there. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's a little chilly out.
A little bit tonight, but today was nice, right? Were you referring to the afternoon or the weekend?
The weekend was amazing.
We were spoiled.
We were so spoiled, but today it was really nice.
It was, yeah. We had some 40s today, a little bit chilly tonight, but then back in the 40s for tomorrow. So as we get you ready for that, and notice across the area, plenty of 20s. Round Deer's at 25, Milwaukee at 28, Port Washington at 29 degrees, Oak Creek at 28, Kenosha at 31. Taking a look at some of the temperatures to the west. West Bend at 23, Waukesha at 25, Watertown at 21. So some of those areas well west of the lake will likely fall back into the teens. Bottom line, tomorrow morning, it's going to be a cold start in the middle 20s, but throughout the day, not bad. A nice car wash forecast. We're expecting another dry day Tuesday, Wednesday, and then on Thursday. That'll be our next chance for some precipitation, but enough to continue to wash the car. Upper 30s at noon and lower 40s at 3 o'clock for tomorrow. Thankfully, we'll have that southerly wind. Those winds are going to be changing on Thursday, and rain could actually switch over to snow. We got more on that coming up in your CBS 58 Ready Weather.
Drew, we'll see you then. U.S. Postal Service considering a change that would give more people access to your mailbox. A proposal would sell the access to companies like Amazon or FedEx. CBS 58's Mark McPherson joins us live outside the post office in Milwaukee with the story. Mark?
Yeah, the U.S. Postal Service has been losing billions for more than a decade. This would help them raise money, but not everyone's crazy about the idea.
Just leave my mailbox alone.
Not everyone thinks it's a good plan to let someone other than the postman into their mailbox.
They shouldn't be in our mailbox. The only one that goes in there is the postman.
I don't really think that that's something that they should be able to do without our permission.
But it could happen. The U.S. Postal Service is legally the only organization that can use this mailbox. But a new report commissioned by the White House suggests selling off that exclusive right could earn them a lot of money.
Companies do this kind of stuff all the time.
It would mean instead of FedEx, UPS, or Amazon leaving small packages on your front step, they would stick them in your mailbox. But one St. Francis resident sees a problem.
If they're sticking them in your door, you can barely see them in there. Sometimes they're hiding, but if you've got something sticking in your mailbox, it's going to be like out there, like, hello, here I am.
Only the Postal Service would see the extra cash, not the homeowner, and they need it. USPS lost $4 billion last year, their 12th year in a row losing money. This could potentially help keep shipping and stamp costs down. But even that cost saving doesn't have everyone on board.
It's nobody's business but ours, what's in our mailbox.
Now, we did reach out to USPS and we didn't hear back. The report didn't say exactly how much this would save USPS, but it did also suggest cutting costs and increasing the cost of commercial shipping. Reporting in Milwaukee, Mark McPherson, CBS 58 News.
Mark, thank you. Coming up next, trading has another rough day on Wall Street. We'll tell you why.
Plus, some believe a job opening in Washington might be filled by Governor Scott Walker. He says, though, that's not going to happen.
I'm Nicole Killian on Capitol Hill, where the shutdown deadline inches closer. I'll explain why lawmakers and the president still seem far apart on a deal.
And on the way at 9:30, the step one Milwaukee family is taking to ensure their safety after a recent neighborhood shooting.
Deadline to avoid a government shutdown just days away, but the president and Congress are doubling down on opposite sides of a demand for a $5 billion border wall.
Nicole Killian has more on that story.
Many lawmakers on Capitol Hill say they want to avert a government shutdown by the end of this week.
I don't want to have this fight and shut government down.
The time to solve this problem is now.
The only thing standing in their way is the president's demand of $5 billion for the border wall. President Donald Trump threatened to shut down the government over the wall during a contentious on-camera meeting with Democrats last week.
I will shut down the government.
Okay, absolutely.
Democrats offered the president two options: $1.3 billion for fencing and other security measures, or a continuing resolution to maintain current government funding levels into next year. They say the president's demand doesn't have the votes.
Even with a Republican Congress, no threat or temper tantrum will get the president his wall.
White House aides say President Trump is standing firm.
He's very focused on getting to that $5 billion number.
Friday is the deadline, and senators are already back at work in Washington, but the House is not scheduled to return until Wednesday. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
U.S. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke is resigning from the Trump administration at the end of the year. He's leaving just one day before Democrats take control of the House. They were preparing to launch investigations into his practices managing America's public lands. President Trump says he will name a new Interior Secretary nominee by the end of this week. Governor Scott Walker was in Washington, D.C. today, just a couple of days after Bloomberg reported that he's a potential candidate to fill the Interior Secretary job. Despite being on that list, Walker has said multiple times he does not plan to go to Washington. UWM professor Mordecai Lee says good managers from other fields have been chosen for cabinet positions in the past.
What Governor Walker would bring to the job in terms of his qualifications are that he was the manager of Milwaukee County as the county exec, and then for 8 years he was the manager of the state executive branch. That's a lot of good management experience. So the question becomes, if you're qualified to be a manager, does it matter what you're managing?
The governor's office says Walker was at the White House Christmas reception today. No comment, though, was made on the Interior Secretary position.
One of the bills the governor signed after the lame duck session of the legislature last week will be challenged in federal court. It's a bill that would limit early voting to no more than 2 weeks before an election. A group of organizations filed a motion asking the court to stop enforcement of that law. A statement from Citizen Action today calls the law the latest attempt to disenfranchise Wisconsin voters. And that's the group, or today, the group that's trying to bring the 2020 Democratic Convention to Milwaukee named its host committee Governor-elect Tony Evers, Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes, Senator Tammy Baldwin, Congresswoman Gwen Moore, Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett, Milwaukee County Executive Chris Abele. Milwaukee a finalist for the convention, along with Houston and Miami.
In less than a week, the number of U.S. soldiers on the southern border has been cut by 1,000. The Pentagon announced today active duty troops dropped to just over 3,100. About 1,000 are positioned in Texas, 900 in Arizona, and 1,200 in California. Nearly 6,000 were activated during the peak of the mission, which dwindled to 4,200 last Thursday. And the U.S. Air Force is gearing up to launch the first of 32 next-generation GPS satellites. The satellite is nicknamed Vespucci after America's namesake explorer Amerigo Vespucci. The so-called GPS-3 satellites are designed to be 3 times more accurate than the location system currently in orbit. They're also built with a more secure military signal that's resistant to jamming.
Another rough day on Wall Street. Stock market sank deeper into the red following sluggish economic reports. Dow fell 507. S&P 500 lost more than 2%, hitting a 14-month low. The deadline to send your holiday gifts so they arrive in time for Christmas quickly approaching. First-class mail, priority mail need to be sent by Thursday. UPS, FedEx have a Friday deadline. Postal Service says packages sent with Priority Mail Express need to be mailed by Saturday. Shipping companies expect a record year fueled by e-commerce.
Well, after a great weekend of weather this week, it's quiet.
A lot of people looking for a white Christmas.
Yeah, not looking great. You know,
Okay.
truthfully, I mean, we're kind of up and down, but nothing too significant at this point. We've got a chance for some flurries on the 10-day forecast, but yeah, we're going to continue to warm up the next couple of days with temperatures in the 40s this afternoon, lower 40s, and a beautiful sunrise. Of course, yesterday topping out at 50 degrees in Milwaukee. The last time we had a 50-degree high, you have to go all the way back to early November. It was a long time, but the sunshine today, so nice out there, and we're going to continue to root on that sun angle to just keep going up a little bit as we start the latter half of December. All right, 28 degrees in Milwaukee, 21 in Waukesha, lower 20s from Watertown, West Bend, Racine's at 29, Kenosha at 31. There's some signs of some warming. Notice the warmer temperatures to our south and southwest. Thankfully, there will be a south to southwest wind developing for your Tuesday and your Wednesday as well. Unfortunately, we got to put on the brakes because on Thursday a front comes in and that'll mean a chance for some rain, possibly changing over to some snow. So a lot of cold air to the north, but thankfully the real extreme cold air will remain bottled up. Satellite and radar, really nothing going on for tonight, and we just have not experienced much snowfall at all for the month of December. Keep in mind the normal for Milwaukee is about 10 inches. We haven't even gotten a half an inch officially at the airport, so as of today, 5.3 inches below for the month, and it just looks like there's not a lot of big chances here for measurable snowfall. Like I said, we could see a little snow on Thursday. Otherwise, not expecting anything major. So for tonight, low to middle 20s in most spots. Definitely going to be cold tomorrow morning, but tomorrow afternoon, well, it should be very nice. We'll have some sunshine, south winds from 5 to 15 miles per hour. In fact, those winds are going to be increasing a little bit throughout the afternoon, but at least they're out of the south, and we should see most spots all across southeastern Wisconsin in the lower 40s for tomorrow. So should turn out to be a pretty nice day. Our normal this time of the year is lower 30s. Our 10-day forecast, well, we've got 45 on Wednesday, and then that mix possible Thursday, especially afternoon. Winter arrives on Friday, and then we've got 30s for the weekend. Saturday at 35, Sunday at 32. Slight chance for a little light snow on Sunday, and then for Christmas Day, there's Santa there with a few flurries, but nothing extreme. I do want to thank some great kids, the third graders at Mill Valley Elementary School. We got to talk about weather and climate today, so it was my pleasure to be out there. And my goodness, I think we spent 20 to 25 minutes answering questions. A lot of great questions from those kids, so thanks for having me out.
All right, Drew, thank you. Well, the oldest brewery in America is celebrating its birthday. How you can get in on a special offer.
Plus, what a new study says about Netflix and its impact on the movie industry.
And as we head to break, here's a look at the top 3 stories on our website, cbs58.com. In tonight's trending topics, a new study finds Netflix is not destroying the movie theater business. The study found people who go to the movies more often also watch more streaming content at home. People who went to 9 or more movies in the past year averaged about 11 hours of streaming each week. That's compared to around 7 hours of weekly streaming by people who saw 1 to 2 films per year. Some people may be surprised to learn that Yuengling is America's oldest brewery at 190 years old. To celebrate, they started releasing a series of commemorative beer cans. There are 5 different limited edition cans that show how beer cans have evolved since 1829. A new design will hit the stores each month between now and April.
Time for the sports brief. The Packers are not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to have a winning season. So where do the green and gold go from here? Some people say the Packers should tank, rest their good players like Aaron Rodgers, lose the final 2 games, get a higher draft pick. Joe Philbin, though, not going to tolerate anybody giving up on 2018.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is a football team. You're a football player. You're employed by the Green Bay Packers. Just like, if players or coaches, what's to say, well, geez, I don't really, I'd like to go home tonight and not prepare as hard for this game because we're not going to the playoffs. I mean, that's not a professional approach to the job, I don't think.
New college basketball top 25 poll includes both Wisconsin and Marquette. Badgers stay at number 16. Golden Eagles climb a spot to number 20. That despite not even playing a game last week. They are the only Big East team in the top 25. Bucks battle the Pistons. The Packers get ready for a trip to New York. Kevin Holden has both stories in about 30 minutes.
And coming up next, a 2-year-old boy is on life support in California. Why the family says a current law prevents some family members from visiting him.
Plus, when doctors say you are most likely to have a heart attack.